being here with us this morning, and I want to thank Mayor Bradshaw, the County Mayor, Mayor Harris, the Loudon City Mayor for joining us as well. I will say this, that our next briefing, if we don't have anything urgent to report, will be on April the 13th at 9 a.m. at Loudon City Hall out on Highway 72. Of course, Lenore City and Lenore City Utilities continues to remain open and serve the public or the citizens of Loudon County and particularly Lenore City. And like to reiterate that the Loudon County Clerk's Office is still suspended from selling tags here in Lenore City on Mondays and Tuesdays. And it's my understanding you can go through the drive-through there at the Loudon Courthouse Annex and continue to get those tags renewed. The income tax folks that serves the citizens of Loudon County here at City Hall that is still suspended as well. And the Lenore City government and Lenore City Utility Board adopted the Family First Coronavirus Act last Monday. We will continue to follow the CDC guidelines. As you all know, the governor announced yesterday that all barber shops and beauty shops will now be mandatory to close. We are giving those businesses till the end of business today to try to finish up their work, and certainly the businesses, all the businesses across the nation has been affected by this, and our heart certainly goes out to those folks. But we must continue to follow the guidelines set out by state government and federal governments. The essential businesses will remain open, such as banks, grocery stores, gas stations, and those things. I do want to make an announcement after talking to the staff here at City Hall and their concerns that effective tomorrow, we will be closing the front doors at City Hall and locking those doors. However, their employees will remain intact and still report to work. The people that's needing city services here at City Hall will have to make an appointment by calling 865-986-2715. Again, 865-986-2715. And of course, we'll be able to accommodate those folks on a case-by-case basis, and if you feel the need to come into the court clerk's office or city municipal offices or building codes. We had quite a few people yesterday, I think, from wanting to talk to the building folks, and so we need to limit that access as much as possible. So we'll be locking the doors, and you'll have to call and make an appointment to get in to see who you need to see. After the mayor's, the Loudon County Mayor gets done talking, and the Loudon City Mayor, I'm going to have Sergeant Kristen Dragon to come up to reiterate the things that we have talked about to the Hispanic community. I'd had several complaints over the weekend that the Hispanic community was gathering up, particularly at the soccer fields at the Wamford Keep Park over the weekend. So I want to be sure that that community knows the seriousness of this, and to be able to he's going to do some translation for us, and to reiterate again to the Hispanic community that we shouldn't be gathering up at those soccer fields and things of that nature. We still encourage people to get out and visit the parks. However, we need to remain our distance 6 feet apart and no more than 10 people to congregate. So with that being said, I'll ask Mayor Bradshaw to come up and give his report and Bradshaw.
Thank you, Mayor Akins. Just a little bit of an update. I talked to the state, our local health officer yesterday, Dr. Sturdivant, and I know one of the things that I think all three of us mayors, all five of us, if you count Philadelphia and Greenback, are getting hammered about is location of some of these confirmed cases. We're not going to know that, and that's just the bottom line. Under HIPAA, that's not going to be told, it's not going to be passed out. And so some of the best advice she gave me yesterday, which kind of struck a chord with me, was you treat everybody like they're carrying the virus. And that is the best advice I can pass along. Continue to follow our CDC guidelines, continue to use social distancing. And folks, if you don't have to be out, don't be out. You can enjoy, your front yard. You don't have to be gathered up in groups of 20 or 30 and outside. I know I've talked to a couple of our local bake shops who are going to remain open through this with either curbside service or very limited interaction inside the building. Take an opportunity to enjoy our outdoors, but enjoy them with your local household. Don't be out and gathering up in huge groups. We are still standing at 8 confirmed cases, which we know it's just apparent that we don't have just 8 cases in Loudon County. So exercise those universal precautions and be smart about it, being out and being gathering. One update on our heaviest foot traffic right now is our county clerk. Tag renewal, car registration, wedding licenses. Many, if not most of that, can be done online. We're still seeing huge amounts of traffic come through. That office is dedicated to remaining open as long as they can without risking our employees and the clerks that are working there. But if you can do that online, let me strongly encourage you to do that online. And that gives you an opportunity to not expose anybody wanting to get out as well as our employees. All Loudon County offices are still functioning. We're intended to keep functioning. Now, the animal shelter is an appointment only. I think our annex has some restrictions as far as who's coming in and out, just to keep foot traffic down. You can call from your home or you can call when you get there. And if it's something you have to be in the building for, we'll certainly get that taken care of. The county office building as well is open. Again, we're restricting access to folks who need to be in there. We have taken some strategies as far as splitting up some of our teams. Our finance department, our maintenance department is splitting up where if we do get a confirmed case inside the county office building, we will still be able to function. So again, my biggest suggestion, my strongest urging is to maintain your social distancing. And if you don't have to be out, don't be out. If you need to get out and shop, get what you need and get out of there. Walmart is not a tourist attraction, it's a store. You don't have to go there just to hang out. I think that's one of our biggest crowds as well. If there's any questions, if you are struggling with getting groceries or you need to get in contact with somebody about maybe meal delivery or grocery delivery, feel free to call my office, 865-458-4664. We'll be happy to put you in contact. If you are over 60 and you need groceries just picked up, then our Senior Citizen Center is taking care of that. We've got a handful of volunteers that are very good volunteers and very trustworthy volunteers that are going out and picking up groceries for folks, and you don't have to worry about us cutting just anybody loose with some of these projects. But anything that, if you have any questions on this, please feel free to call my office. Thank you.
First off, I want to thank Mayor Akins for hosting us here this morning, his staff for getting things ready. I appreciate y'all letting us come here today to have this press conference. Also, too, I want to personally thank Mayor Bradshaw. He's really stayed on top of this and kept Mayor Akins and I informed, and I think the general public, and I think he needs to be congratulated on it. I think he's done a good job, and somebody needs to take the lead, and Mayor Bradshaw has done that, and I want to personally thank him for his leadership during this time. As Mayor Akins said, Leonard City Public Services and everything's still being provided. Same thing in Loudon. All the services are still being provided. As Mayor Bradshaw said, that we've split up into different teams with our utilities. They're on different schedules and things. Customer service is still open through drive-through. Our City Hall front door is also locked. If you need to see someone there, just make an appointment, and I'd be glad to take care of that. Also, we made a decision last Friday, to close down our basketball courts and soccer fields and playgrounds. Those are all closed. The parks are still open. You can still walk, walking trails, walking tracks. Just make sure, as has been mentioned here, that you keep the proper social distance. But one of the greatest things to relieve stress is exercise. So, get outside and enjoy what you can, but remain social distance, the 6 feet apart. There's people a lot smarter than us that's come up with these suggestions, so we need to follow their guidelines. I want to take just a minute I think anytime we're in a situation like this, if we keep a positive attitude, is the main thing we need to try to do. And a lot of ways we can do that. One of the first things I think is accept what you cannot change. Some of these things we can't change, but we can control how we react to it. So I think the main thing we can do, first off, try to maintain a positive attitude is accept what we can't change. We can't change everything. We don't have control over a lot of the things. And also, I think, limit the amount of news and social media you listen to. There's a lot of bad news out there. But there's a silver lining to every bad story. And I think if we look really hard for the good news, there's some good news there if we just look for it. I guess I'm kind of a reckless optimist to my own demise sometimes. I always look for the positive side, and I just try to refuse to let my mind go to the negative so many times. Let's try to think of the positive. There's a lot of positive things that we can find. Also, kind of set some boundaries. Don't think about it in weeks and months. Just think about it in days. I'm going to try to here's what I'm going to do on March 31st. I'll think about April 1st tomorrow, and before you know it, day at a time, we'll be through this 2-week period, and it'll be April 30th, and hopefully we'll get past all this. And it won't last forever. So let's try to set some boundaries and think about it in daily increments. And I think it's important, as Mayor Bradshaw mentioned, we stay connected with our friends and family. We can do that virtually. You can do that through a lot of social media type. You can do it through Facebook. You can do it through FaceTime. A lot of different ways we can check on each other. I think it's important that we stay connected. One thing we need to remember too, there's a lot of things being canceled. Sports seasons have been canceled. Games have been canceled. Churches are not having meetings now. But one thing that hadn't been canceled, last I checked, hope has not been canceled. We still have hope, and this won't last forever. And let's just keep that positive mindset, and I think it'll make everything go a whole lot better. And I appreciate the opportunity to be here. And again, I want to thank Mayor Akins and his staff for hosting it. So, Mayor Akins.
Thank you, Mayor Harris, and Mayor Harris was talking about positive news. Just yesterday, myself and the staff, and on behalf of the City Council, went over to River Oaks and Lenore City and delivered food, and just the people over there that were shut in, and just to see the smile on their faces, just to know that. To let them know that they wasn't forgotten, and certainly, as we did yesterday, I want to thank Kentucky Fried Chicken, Country Kinfolks, Gondolier, the burgers, and Chick-fil-A for furnishing that food to those folks over there. I mean, it just made a tremendous difference in their lives to know that someone still cared out in the community. And Jeff, thank you for mentioning that. You're exactly right. We should be looking for the positive things in life, and we're all going to get past this. And as we've said, all three of us have said before, we're going to get past it, and it's just going to take some time. And we're united and for the betterment of Loudon County, and that's what we should be doing. At this time, I would ask Sergeant Krista Dragon of the Lenore City Police Department to come up and to relay the message to the Hispanic community for us. Sergeant Dragon, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I'll be talking for the Hispanic community here in Lenore City and Loudon County.
Speak up this one.
Right. Explaining the situation and the precautions that the local governments and our federal government be taking for them. So, Mayor, I'm going to switch to Spanish.
Go ahead.
Buenos días a toda la comunidad hispana en la ciudad de Lenore City and Loudon. Como decía el alcalde de Lenore City, alcalde de Loudon y alcalde de la ciudad de Loudon, que lo primordial es que no caigan en pánico, no se preocupen demasiado, pero que tengan en mente que no tienen que estar en grupos de más de 10 personas y siempre mantengan ese perímetro de seguridad para que no se tengan infectados, que es de 6 pies, más o menos como 2 metros. el alcalde Aikens les hace decir a ustedes, les quiere decir a ustedes que por favor eviten en lo necesario una exposición innecesaria. Si van a ir al supermercado, vaya con 2 personas, una entra, compra y se va, no lleven a toda la familia. Eso sería una exposición innecesaria. Y lo primordial en esta mañana que los alcaldes quieren decirles a ustedes, que todos los parques en Loudon City y Loudon están cerrados. Pueden usar los caminos del parque, los internos, para caminar, correr, ejercitar, pero las canchas de fútbol, las canchas de básquetbol están cerradas. So, tengan en mente eso y por favor colaboren con nosotros y cualquier necesidad que tengan, déjenos saber. Las oficinas del gobierno local de Loudon City están cerradas desde mañana. Si necesitan ustedes una reunión o hablar con alguien, por favor llamen al número, Mayor, ¿cuál número? Por decir.
986-2715.
A 986-2715, con el código de área 865. Llamen a ese número y hagan una cita con quien ustedes desean hablar. Si es alguien para informarse de lo que necesiten con el alcalde o en las oficinas de nuestro gobierno local. Y eso sería todo por hoy. Mantengámonos positivos con fe, que vamos a salir de esto y no caigamos en pánico. Gracias.
Thank you, Sergeant Dragon. Do we have any questions?
Enforcement, is there going to be enforcement? I know there's some people that are concerned because they see, like Mayor Harris said, some of the news across the country on the enforcement where there was a pastor taken to jail for holding a church service. Is there going to be any kind of extra enforcement, like, you know, if kids are out playing basketball, law enforcement going to show up and all that kind of thing? I know that's a
Well, law
concern for some
enforcement-
people.
Sure, law enforcement may show up and ask them to leave. Obviously, we're not going to start writing children citations and putting them in detention. We've got more important things to do than that. But we ask that everyone cooperate, and we believe that they will. We just need to continue to spread the word, and I think people will do what they're supposed to be doing. Anyone else? Thank y'all very much for being here. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you, that's good.
I'm sure y'all ain't know how a bunch of kids and hairdressers though. No.
Well, somebody's got to be mad, you know?
I know.
Yeah.
I did that down there in, was it Tampa?
Well, the pastor, yeah.
Yeah, the pastor, they took him to jail.
Yeah, took him to jail, yeah. Yeah.
But you know, it's we talked about it, it's
Hey,
amazing the people, they're just willing to surrender to martial law. You know, it's eager almost.
It's eager.
And that's
Yeah, they're like,
kinda
I don't
ones that-
understand why we're just not on.
That's probably